Hey boxers, this is Coach Jay with Imperium Boxing. We're going to do a little film review here of Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith. It took place about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We're going to discuss what went right, what went wrong, and some of the lessons learned. The theme of this video can easily be said, bangers don't beat boxers. Banging is never good in most cases. Sometimes a fist fight breaks out in a boxing ring, and that's just the way it goes. You try to contain yourself and have discipline, and fall back on your training to prevent total breakdowns of fundamentals and technique. In any case, though, we're going to see a clash of that here. This is going to be the downfall of Joe's fight against Beterbiev. We're going to see how quickly Beterbiev was able to exploit some of these weaknesses, and he was able to time Joe. We're also going to see the difference in delivery of the punches versus wide and loopy versus short and snappy. All right, well, let's begin. We're going to jump in here. The highlights themselves will be pretty quick, but we'll glean some very good information. Hopefully, some information that you can take back to your training, your sparring, and your competition. So this is not a video to criticize Joe Smith. We're just using Joe as an opportunity to learn here. This is just something you can learn and see how even pros are sometimes collapse fundamentally when they get off their game plan. All right, let's begin. So we're going to see Joe using that big jab of his. Artur coming over the top. Nothing too dangerous. Beterbiev's just throwing some shots here. Joe's working behind that big jab. Watch here, though. Artur does not like this position that he's in. Joe had him back against the ropes. Joe had him at the end of that jab. So when we first started the video, the same thing happened. Beterbiev comes forward, tries to get some combinations. Here, Joe's backing him up. Joe's got those big shoulders up. Artur knows what time it is. He knows something big is about to come down the middle. So he said, let me just go ahead and get out of this position. I'm going to come firing off. I know what Joe's going to do. No matter how good you are, someone's throwing a big jab like Joe's, you're going to be blinded sooner or later, and you're going to taste a big right hand. So watch this. Beterbiev knows this, gets off the ropes. Boom, gets him back in the center of the ring. Now they can go back to boxing again. Joe's still using that jab. Right here. Watch Beterbiev pick this right hand up. Joe goes downstairs, a little level change. He jabs, but look how slow. Watch Joe hang on to this right hand. It's slow. Beterbiev just rolls back, comes back to the center of the ring. Here we go. We're going to see Beterbiev start timing. He starts throwing punches. This is kind of the breakdown of the fundamentals here. And as I was watching the fight live, I could see Joe was pressing. I think he got a little too anxious. He got too aggressive, and it actually slowed his punches down. And we're going to see Beterbiev pick up on this. He's going to see these wide punches, and watch him punch while Joe punches, but specifically how he punches on the inside. Boom! As soon as Joe lets that little loopy hook go, Beterbiev comes over the right hand, counters. Nice piece of fighting. Same thing here. We're going to see him time a jab shortly. He's just letting him look how squared up Joe is. Watch his footwork. Watch him come out of this exchange. Look how loopy and kind of weak that right hand was. It hits him on the top of the guard. Okay, watch. And then he just kind of squares up. Look, his feet work is not that great. Now look how squared up he is. Now that right hand might have landed below the guard, behind the guard, right here on the, but he's so squared up. Beterbiev just steps in and takes the rest of the punches away. Jab, jab. Jab, when he jabs, he's going to time this jab. Boom! Watch this. That's a great piece of fighting. He's pawing. Watch Joe kind of squat and lean down, kind of like whack-a-mole. He's got to stand up. Look at this. He times it. Wow, he knew when he was going to throw that right hand. He presses the action. Look how wide Joe's punches are. Beterbiev's on the inside, throwing short, snappy punches on the inside of Joe's shoulders, while Joe's are throwing outside of his shoulders. Again, he's so out of position here. Beterbiev's right down the middle with his shots. Look at the difference. And then Joe throws a big, long, loopy right hand. Falls off balance. Beterbiev goes downstairs because he can, just to mix it up. Poking that jab, both in the center of the ring. Beterbiev moving, lateral, nice little lead hook. Steps in with a little lead hook. Just to vary it, just to mix it up. Now Joe, look, he presses right here. Watch Beterbiev's reaction to this. Watch Joe, see this? Joe squats. He telegraphs everything. Squats. You know the jab's coming. Or the right over the top. Beterbiev just pulls back. But he also lets Joe do it because he knows he can step inside and throw something quick down the middle. Right here. Okay, so if we look at that sequence, I just paused earlier and said, hey, look, look at Joe telegraphing it. Look at Joe telegraphing it. He's squatting, kind of leans in with that left. Beterbiev pulls back. Here, he did not pull back. He let Joe do what he wanted to do. Basically walked Joe into some offense. Right here. Tap, tap, boom. Tap, tap. Telegraphed. He's not varying up his attack. Joe's done good film study. Or excuse me, Beterbiev's done good film study. Are you seeing enough of Joe? Joe's wide at this point. His hands are kind of down. He's laboring to throw those shots. Beterbiev sees this, and it's just too easy. As soon as Joe comes in to tap that jab, and he kind of drops that hand and drops his shoulders, he bends over at the waist. Beterbiev knows what's coming, and he just steps in and counters with a big right hand. And Joe's got a great chin. He's never been down in the amateurs or the pros. He's probably been hit harder than this. He's probably been hit harder than this in sparring. It's just he's taking them wide open while he's coming forward. It snaps his head. It knocks his equilibrium off, and the cable goes out for about a second, and that's why his legs collapse. It's not that like Joe's on the verge of getting knocked out here. See, Joe's frustrated. He comes right here. This is the end of the first round. He comes charging forward. Ding, ding. Now we go to the second. Beterbiev coming out, jabbing, center of the ring. Look how Beterbiev's patient, moving, circling. In our left, look, if we go over here in the left screen, we see Joe's punches going wide again. Look, Beterbiev, see this? Look how wide. Of course, Beterbiev's coming back too, but he's just trying to catch him as Joe was stepping back. There's the other attack. It's the same thing. Even Beterbiev's on the ropes. It's the same. Look at this. It's jab, jab. Jab, jab. Watch how wide that right hand is. Watch how wide Joe's right hand is. Jab, jab. Watch what Beterbiev does. Let's go right here. He just times it. Right over the jab. Boom. Short and snappy. Beats long and loopy. Remember this, guys. Bangers don't beat boxers. Joe's kind of leaning in. Got his guard up. Now he's just kind of slowing down. Oh, I think this bothered Joe. It might have bothered him mentally, physically. It might have bothered him both. But this was a nice little variation. Watch Joe's reaction. Also, boom. Nice, that set it all up. Now watch him just step inside. This little jab, bop. Just quick, nothing loading. No loading up. He doesn't have to. It's because Joe is wide open and those punches are landing flush. They're flush. There's no glove blocking it. It's right on the face, right on the chin. Nobody can stand up to that, not at this level. It's not that Joe doesn't have a chin all of a sudden, okay? It's not that Joe is all of a sudden not a well-conditioned professional athlete and a very experienced boxer. It's got nothing to do with that. And it's not that Beterbiev just all of a sudden is possessed, monster, which he does have obviously great power. He's got nothing but KOs. But you can see here, he's not like this Mike Tyson, early young George Foreman type puncher. It's just precise, well-timed, well-placed, well-executed. That's the secret to these shots. They're inside the shoulders, whereas Smith's shots are outside the shoulders. Beterbiev is going to land his first 10 out of 10 times. Snapping that jab back. Now Smith's kind of lost a little bit of movement. It's pretty clear here. He's just walking into things now. It's kind of went downhill from this point. Now he's just getting tagged. And there's the uppercut. And there's the right hand behind the ear. And that is it. It's just that was the same sequence 5 seconds before. That was the same sequence that we just seen Joe get staggered, 5 seconds before. This one was the TKO. There's the well-timed pulling over that jab. And this is a great angle. See how wide Joe is? Look at that. Look, his right hand is back here. Look at this. His back hand is here. Same thing if we go here. Watch his right hand. Watch him drop. Beterbiev just lands his and turns it over. I mean, he beat him by a full half second if we were to go in real time. There's the punches on the inside. Right down the middle. Boom. Boom, right down the middle. You see this, guys. There's no loop in Beterbiev's punches, none whatsoever. And now he's just, you know, hitting him like a double end bag at this point. Tap, tap, tap. I mean, I wouldn't call them taps, but they ain't exactly bombs either. They're just well placed. He's sitting back and observing. He's seeing where his gloves are at. Look, his gloves are up front, so Beterbiev goes behind the ear, or above the ear. And that was it. He'd seen enough. The fight is over, and that's it in a nutshell, guys. The theme of this would be bangers don't beat boxers. Could Joe have done better? Yeah, absolutely could. Could he have beaten Beterbiev? Probably not. No, I don't think he could. I think Beterbiev's just on another level in terms of being technical and just a little more composed in there. But Joe's game plan was all wrong. I don't think he intended to come out fighting like that. But Beterbiev's not a real active puncher. He's not a real active fighter. I think he averages like 25 punches over the first few rounds. If I were, you know, advising Joe, you go to the center of the ring and you work that big jab. You don't press the action too much. Not against a counter puncher like that. You just work the jab. You stay in the center of the ring and you keep him at the end of that jab. And you set a tempo. And you set a pace that's not his. It's yours. So anytime you make a fighter fight at your pace and your tempo, it messes them up conditioning-wise, mental-wise. It gets them off their game. Then they start pressing. Then you can maybe walk him into those right hands of yours that you want to land. And you won't be pressing as much either because you're going to feel like you're in control. It's just a level of mental confidence that your own pace gives you. I'm not saying he wouldn't have a fight on his hands. He's not going to sit there and Beterbiev just going to be a punching bag. But it certainly wouldn't be such a risky endeavor of moving in on somebody like Beterbiev when you didn't have to. But if you can take one thing away from this, guys, is clean punches down the middle. Short and snappy beats long and loopy. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and this little short film review. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comment section below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.